We're living in an age of effortless answers, right? An age of, well, frictionless thinking. And that leads to a really simple, but honestly, a pretty profound question. When the struggle to find an answer is just gone, what else do we lose along with it?
You know, it all starts with a question. Just like this. It's poetic, it's personal, it's a little messy. Now, in the past, a thought like this would be the start of a whole journey, right? A slow process of discovery. But now, almost before the question is fully formed in your head, a perfect, elegant answer can just appear on your screen. No struggle at all. And that tension between our messy human process and the machine's clean, instant answer, that's what we're going to dig into today.
And let's be real for a second. That initial feeling of having all our mental burdens just lifted away, well, it's seductive. It feels good. This is the seduction of ease.
The author has this great term for it, the phantom hand. Think about it. For years, so many of us have been carrying this heavy rucksack just stuffed with facts and dates and definitions. And then all of a sudden, AI reaches out and just takes the straps. And you feel lighter, faster, more efficient. But as the author points out, when that weight is suddenly gone, you have to start wondering, wait, is my walk changing? Am I becoming a passenger in my own mind?
And this right here, this is the critical turning point in the whole idea. It's this unsettling realization that the weight we were so happy to get rid of, it wasn't just an obstacle, it was a tool. It was the very thing that was sharpening our minds all along.
So this realization, it forces us to make a distinction between two very different kinds of effort, or friction. One that we should be thrilled to get rid of, and another that we might actually need to fight to keep.
And this visual just nails that shift in perspective, doesn't it? On the left, that's our first assumption. Weight is an obstacle, a big rock holding us back. But then on the right, you have the new realization that weight is what gives us our definition. It's a whetstone that gives us our edge.
So here's how the source breaks it down. On one side, you've got mechanical labor. Think scrubbing floors, doing longhand division, just rote, boring tasks. These are frictions we are absolutely right to get rid of. But then there's constitutive friction. This is the struggle to find the right words, the labor of true empathy. The argument here is that this struggle, it isn't a bug in being human. It's the core feature. It's the very process by which the soul is forged.
And all of this brings us to the central metaphor of this piece. This idea that we're starting to live in a cellophane world, where truth comes neatly shrink-wrapped for our convenience.
To make this idea really hit home, the author shares this deeply personal story. They were writing a note to a friend who was grieving, really searching for the right words, and before they could even finish their thought, the AI's autocomplete just blossomed across the screen, offering a perfectly polished sentence.
And the author gives this a name, synthetic grace. It's the machine's suggestion that looks perfect, sounds perfect, but it lets you bypass the actual, messy, hard work of empathy. It fills you up with the appearance of having said the right thing, but with none of the nutritional value that comes from actually feeling it.
Oh, and this plastic fruit metaphor, it's just perfect. I mean, it's got the right shape, the right color, the right glossy shine. It looks correct in every single way, but there's nothing there. It offers zero nourishment. It's just a hollow perfection.
And that's the cellophane world. See, truth is no longer a path that you have to hack your way through in the wilderness. Nope, it's a finished product, delivered to you, shrink-wrapped. And sure, cellophane protects and preserves, but it does it through sterility. It creates a barrier. You can see the flower, but you can't smell it. And you have to wonder, when everything is sealed up this tightly, what happens to the oxygen?
So where did that oxygen go? Well, it lies in this fundamental difference between how a machine calculates a correct answer and how a human being experiences a true one.
This bell curve diagram explains it beautifully. The machine, it operates on the statistical mean, that fat part right in the middle of the curve. It's always optimizing for what's most likely, what's most probable. But to be an individual, to be an I, well, that means you exist out here in the tails of the curve. It means being the statistical outlier.
The source actually calls this a quiet war between two different ideas. On one side, you have the machine's goal, which is probabilistic smoothness. It's not trying to be true, it's just trying to be likely. And on the other side is our goal, subjective truth, the things that are true for us specifically, in all our weird outlier glory.
Just look at this image of the gardener's hands. A gardener knows the soil is thirsty, not from some data sensor, but from the specific, crumbly resistance of this earth against their thumb. That feeling, it isn't a data point you can average out. It is a localized truth. And when we offload the labor of our own thinking, we lose the scent of the garden. And that really brings us to the ultimate trade-off we're making. We become obsessed with the ease of the destination. We just want the answer, right now. But in doing that, we forget that the struggle of the journey, that was the very thing that built the traveler in the first place.
So what do? I mean, the answer isn't to just reject technology and go live in the woods. Instead, it's about developing a totally new skill set, a new way of engaging with all of this. The author calls this a literacy of resistance. Look, the cellophane is already wrapped around the world. We can't just go back. The challenge now is to learn how to be the grit in the gears of our own efficiency, to know when to intentionally slow down, to choose to introduce friction back into our own thinking.
And it really comes down to this single, decisive moment that, let's face it, we all face multiple times a day. Your finger is hovering over the key. It would be so easy to just hit tab and let the polished, polite ghost of the machine finish your thought for you.
But this literacy of resistance, it means choosing something else. It means wanting the stumbling, searching, clumsy word. Yeah, the one that isn't perfect, the one that trips over its own feet, but the one that carries the true, authentic vibration of your own voice.
Because if we let go of everything that is difficult, what's left? What becomes of the person who used to do the work? The author's conclusion is a conscious choice. I'm hitting backspace. I think I'd rather sweat for my sentences.
And that leaves us with a final question to think about for ourselves. In a world that promises to remove every single obstacle, we now have to learn to ask, what struggle, what difficulty, what friction in my life is the whetstone? What friction is actually forging my soul? What friction is worth keeping?